Hello, everyone. It's
Hello, I'm
Oasis
doing
here, and
great.
I
Thank you
am
so much for
joined
having
with
me.
Zelo, who
Yeah,
is going to
absolutely
be
awesome.
running Pump It Up Phoenix.
So Steph, obviously all weekend long, starting earlier today, all the way through Sunday evening, we are celebrating and showcasing speedrunning talent from all around the world, from our fastest first community, all in the name of raising money for Trans Lifeline. We couldn't be more thrilled to be able to have you here live and, well, in the avatar at least, here in VR chat with me for this special interview today.
Yeah, live in another reality. Perhaps a
So
better one.
I was gonna say best reality, right?
Yeah.
So Steph, please tell us about what it is that you do within Trans Lifeline. Feel free to introduce yourself out to our audience watching here today.
Hi, audience. Hi, chat. Yeah, my name is Steph. I'm the Gaming and Streaming Partnerships Coordinator for Trans Lifeline. So I'm one of 3 fundraising staff at Trans Lifeline, and I handle the gaming, streaming world. I'm a retired streamer, so now I work to help, connect causes like yours to, although you didn't really need your help, you're like, hey, who do we talk to? This is our 4th year doing this. But I help facilitate these connections to help raise money for an important cause.
How amazing and how meaningful. Really, really phenomenal that organizations like yours really invest personnel, time, and resources to be able to help folks get connected with Trans Lifeline and to be able to raise money for such a great cause. Can you tell me a little bit more about why Trans Lifeline and how is it meaningful for you and how is it special as a charity that we're raising money for this weekend?
Yeah, I'm super passionate about Trans Lifeline. Without it, there really wouldn't be anything like it. We are the world's largest trans direct service organization to trans people by trans people. So we hire, and also we by trans people means that we hire majority trans personnel. I think we only have like 1 or 2 cis people on staff. So no matter what, your money is going to trans people when you support our charity. And we have 2 primary direct service avenues. The first is our hotline, where people can call and get connected to another trans person to talk about their lived experience and help them get help and assistance through a crisis. And that the hotline operators connect to a very vast resource library, so they can get connected to local resources and get assistance getting connected to those local resources, and just get help through a crisis. The hotline also, yeah, if you don't mind me, just keep going.
Please, no, keep going.
Yeah, the hotline also stands separate from any other hotline in the U.S. that I know of. Especially the newest federal. There's a federal hotline, crisis hotline network, the 988 number that also gives out grants to other hotlines. But those grants come with a stipulation that you have to take location data and you have to be a mandated reporter. That is to say, if someone is deemed subjectively a threat to themselves, the cops have to be called on them. And often this is done automated using AI. They're listening in. And if you say the wrong thing, police are showing up. And I probably don't have to explain to this community how awful that is for, marginalized, multiply marginalized, impoverished people to have mentally unhealthy people to have police show up at their door, maybe without even knowing, and especially without consent. So
without their consent, yeah.
Yep. So that's something that makes Trans Lifeline so special to me and keeps me pushing to do the best at my job. It's without it, there wouldn't be a hotline where you can actually express yourself freely and get peer support and actually be able to relax and, be honest and authentic, which I think is that seen-ness is pretty key to building resilience and feeling heard.
Yeah, I mean that true authentic connection, that true empathetic connection that comes in from being an organization that is for a community and brings in people from that community that know, relate, connect, and yeah, just help those in the community really feel seen, heard, understood. That is absolutely amazing and really good to know about the location data stuff. I completely agree in making sure that those that are best equipped to be able to service the community are the ones being able to handle the situation. So that is really important.
Yeah. Just, you when you're in a vulnerable spot and calling a hotline to
Yeah.
get crisis support, you should be able to be safe doing that. And I
Yeah.
think it's ridiculous that the standard is so deeply unsafe instead.
Sure. So let's talk about all of this fantastic fundraising that we're doing. We've already raised thousands of dollars just within hours of opening opening the marathon. Yeah, and I mean, sky's the limit. So excited for what our community will be able to do this weekend. One special thing that we're doing for our audience is that if you donate a cumulative $50 towards Trans Lifeline through fastestfurs.com/donate, or type !donate inside the chat for the direct link, you get yourself an opportunity to potentially win a Nintendo Switch OLED and Tears of the Kingdom, which is super awesome. For that cumulative $50 donation, tell me a little bit about what does that unlock and open up for Trans Lifeline to be able to do for the trans community?
Yeah, well, a $50 donation would, on average, connect 2 trans people to the hotline, and those calls can range up to an hour, or maybe even more. And that's actually sending us a significant chunk of the way to funding our hotline for the entire day. So it is super impactful. That you may be saving 2 people's lives, or at least you're definitely bettering two trans persons' lives that way.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. Just thinking about how those donations directly go to being able to help make that accessible to the trans community. Just absolutely wonderful. So cool. So, I mean, the proof is in the pudding right here. You are a proud member of the furry community as well, right?
Yes. Thanks to VR chat and the pandemic, mostly.
So tell me a little bit about how you got involved with the fandom. Tell us about kind of your identity as a member of the fandom and how you found positive impact for you by being a member of our furry fandom.
Oh, well, I've always been a deer. And when I used to stream, I was a furry in that way, but I wasn't really connected to the community. I was just, I had the antlers, I had the deerish mannerisms. Gosh, I appreciate how in VR chat, or in the world really, there's kind of like personality identifiers that come with the species that you identify with. So I've always liked that about the furry community too. So it's just like, it's always been with me. It's like, yep, that's a deer. So it was like a quick tumble down the rabbit hole when I got into VR chat. This is how I wanted to present myself, and that, cascaded into being into exclusively furry spaces. And, now the furry community in VR chat is burgeoning so fast. It feels like it's, you can't even keep up with how many furry spaces are here. It's like, and it's insular in a way because furries are getting other furries into this community and kind of separate from what you would think is like the traditional VR chat pipeline, but they all end up in the same place. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Well, I guess you kind of, rather than the rabbit hole, you kind of fell into the deer hole, so to speak.
I won't ask what a deer hole
Live
is.
Live TV here. So you mentioned VR chat and just how awesome of a channel for people to become engaged with the fandom are. Like, it is wild thinking how over the past few years, handful of years, whether it be since the pandemic or even just recently before the pandemic, just what are the other avenues that that folks are able to be involved with the fandom? Before, it really was just kind of general internet subculture. Maybe you got connected because of the artwork, maybe you got connected because of the writing, or just online communities in general. And then as the fandom continued to evolve over the past couple of decades, you've got dancers, you've got videographers, you've got photographers, you've got people in VR chat, you've got people streamers, like so many different ways that people can get connected within the community. So your your particular avenue that helped take it to the next level for you was through VR chat. And if I may, like, offer up significant compliments, you had created the artwork on this texture, correct?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I drew
It
this avatar and two avatars I have that I've hand drawn actually.
Oh, nice. I mean, this is
Yes.
absolutely remarkable, absolutely beautiful, and just again a testament
Thank you.
to just how much talent exists inside this in this fandom in a whole variety of different ways. And just, I mean, this is absolutely phenomenal. And thank you so much for sharing your art with us here on camera.
Of course. I mean,
Yeah.
I have this feeling that like avatars in VR chat can actually become like hyper authentic. I mean, furries, y'all understand this, but we kind of become hyper authentic versions of ourselves when we present ourselves in the way we wish to be seen. So VR chat lets you do that too. So once you like start building your own avatars, it really becomes you can connect with a strong sense of identity to the avatar you're wearing. So it's
Yeah,
super
and
neat.
actually, now thinking about it, like obviously there's a direct application for us here within the furry fandom, but have you seen VR chat also being a really great positive and affirming space for members of the trans community as well?
100%. And huge shout out to the Trans Academy in
Ooh.
VR chat because there actually is a large trans safe space there, and they do voice lessons, they give out other tips, they're building a inclusive like community here all in VR chat, and they have their own world, they throw their own raves. So if you're trans, you're gonna fit in VR chat, honestly, because there's a lot of us here.
Oh my gosh, that sounds super fun. I mean, I know we have fun too here within the furry community, but this helps to just enable so many more people of different communities just to let loose, to be able to express, to be able to find spaces and ways of like ways of sharing their identity in ways that are just
Yeah, and
beautiful.
discovering who they are.
Oh my gosh, yes, exactly. And I hadn't even thought about how we create spaces where we can help people become more comfortable with getting into their own skin, finding their own identity. How you talked about voice lessons and training, talking about just social spaces to be able to have fun. So many different applications that being here in VR chat could just suddenly unlock regardless of where you are in the world.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You just need to
Oh
find
my God.
someone to help get you into those right spaces. So, my advice to
Yeah.
anyone new starting VR chat is to avoid the public worlds. You just need to find the right person to send you to the right place. Because underneath that like cruddy oxidized layer of public worlds, there's a beautiful world underneath.
There you go. You gotta chip away and find that shortcut to be able to go ahead on, and that's actually a
Speed run
really
it.
good point. Yeah, exactly,
Perhaps.
exactly. You've got to clip into the awesome center.
Quality spaces. Yes, yes.
Yes, exactly. Oh my goodness. Well, actually, let's talk about speedrunning, right? So you mentioned that you were a streamer before. What kinds of video games do you enjoy playing casually? And I mean, I don't know if you're a speedrunner or not, but if you are, what would you run? What do you run? And if you're not, what would you run if you were able to be a speedrunner? So I know I threw in a multi-part question here, but
Yeah,
what
I
games do you
got
enjoy
you.
playing?
No problem. I was a
Yeah.
pro gamer for a while. I won a Call
Yo.
of Duty tournament in college, which bit me with the bug, and then I played Heroes of the Storm competitively for several years.
Wow.
And Heroes of the Storm is the Blizzard MOBA. Rest in peace. But they had a tournament for college students while I was in college. That was, if you won,
Oh.
you got your whole tuition paid retroactively. It was huge. So I applied myself
Whoa.
full force to that. And I didn't win, but I did get interviewed on ESPN, and it kicked off my streamer career because people are like, "Oh my gosh, she's so cute." And I'm like, "I know." At the time, I was like, "I don't know that, but thank you." And
Aw.
yeah, and so yeah. So I used to be like number go up, my value increases. It's kind of an unhealthy
Mm,
cycle that a lot of pro gamers are in, but I
it
think
can
you
be,
kind of
yeah,
have to be
yeah.
a little unhealthy to be at the very, very top of professional gaming. Anyway, sorry, that's a tangent.
No
I'm
worries.
leaking truths. But yeah, I would play Celeste. I would play Celeste. That would be my favorite
Ooh.
speedrunning game. I love that game. Beating it was so special to me. It's like such a really, really difficult game to complete 100%. Well, I didn't get all the golden strawberries, but um I
That is
did the
definitely
whole
a tough
thing and it
achievement.
was super fulfilling. Yeah. And I love
Yeah.
games that are designed for speedrunning in the sense that like they have these mechanics that are built into the game to make it easier for speedrunners to play, and master. So Celeste is a perfect game. Also, it's
Celeste
trans.
is
So
absolutely. Yes, Celeste is really a chef's kiss of a game for sure. I
uh,
mean, yeah, it definitely needs that absolute precision to get what you need to get. And actually, our community has a good number of Celeste runners, some of whom I think are inside the audience right now. So we see you. um, but yeah, it's just super, super awesome stuff there. What else do you enjoy playing casually, whether it be on computer, on video game, on console, or even just kind of in general as games that you enjoy?
I've been a little addicted to Dark and Darker recently, although I'm trying to wean off
Ooh.
of it. Yeah, it's a really fun game. I like the games that punish you a little bit. It's just like I have this like competitive mindset of like if I'm not losing, I'm not growing. So it's like I love
Ooh.
to get you know, I love the
Yeah, how
games that are pretty
fun.
hard, but never did in the Souls like. I couldn't get Elden Ring to like click with me. That was too difficult. So shout out to anyone who went through that.
Oh man, yeah, that definitely is an experience, and kind of a range of the game experience between like, all right, I could get through the game and master right away, versus, all right, you have to stumble a little bit in order to be able to get through the game effectively, versus the game's just gonna beat you and beat you and beat you until you decide you like it. So actually, just really quick, want to kind of wave out to some of my tech crew that's out here. First off, also big shout outs to the tech crew for putting on this whole event. There's lots of folks that are behind the scenes to be able to make this kind of stuff happen and to make this live interview happen too. So I actually want to check to see, do we potentially have the opportunity to take some questions from the audience, maybe? Yeah, I mean, we're getting
Yeah.
the thumbs up. So while we're getting some of those questions queued up, can you tell me if there's any particular if there's something that a viewer needs to know about Trans Lifeline, if there's anything that they could take away from being familiar with the organization, what should they know? I'll get into the like larger
Oh,
resources question later, but just wanted to ask you like, what's the big
um,
thing that people should remember?
um, you know, I would like to take this space to talk about that. Like, trans people and Trans Lifeline in general have been really struggling this year. It's been a really difficult year in terms of like anti-trans legislation, and actually, Trans Lifeline is in a lot of ways struggling to stay financially viable because we've lost a lot of our corporate support because it's not trending anymore to support trans people. Sponsors have started to like kind of host us low key, not high key right now, which is it's been a really rough time, and our call volume has increased. There is a tremendous demand for Trans Lifeline. And it's hard for us to be struggling to stay viable and also at the same time feel that like need to scale up to meet our community's needs. So like I would say that there really is no resource like Trans Lifeline. There is no crisis hotline like Trans Lifeline. There is no crisis hotline that is safe for trans people. I believe that you can actually be fully yourself and authentic when you call. Trans Lifeline provides that, and every other crisis hotline should provide that, but they don't. So it's pretty necessary that we keep going. And I mean, that's the way of trans resilience. I would say that something that it's a little heavy, but something that binds all trans people is this like resilience, that this the energy to carry on and continue going even when the world wants us to not exist anymore.
Yeah.
And that's like that's a glue that holds our community together. And it's it's a painful glue, but it's also a beautiful glue, and that's something that Trans Lifeline is here for, is to like reduce the despair of the trans community. And the despair kind of at an all-time high. So I like a fair at Trans Lifeline, kill it on our audits. So the government is really happy with our bookkeeping and our numbers. I think your money is going to a good place when you donate to Trans Lifeline. And you are helping. You're supporting the community when you do. So thank you all. Thank you for your donations and your support. And
oh my gosh, how impactful and how moving. And yes, absolutely, thank you, community. So folks out there, if you're listening, every little bit helps, just as Steph had mentioned right now. If you happen to be in a work environment that is stating a commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, make sure that you raise your hand and say, hey, what are we doing to be able to help support in this space, and be a part of that conversation if you feel comfortable doing so. If you are leaders in organizations who are listening, like step up and actually take a stand to be able to help be a positive stand for your fellow human beings. In all honesty, trans rights are human rights. So my gosh, what a powerful message there, Steph. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, and thank you for bringing that up. Like, if you are living in if you are working at a workspace that maybe has some charitable giving budget, like, maybe you can find the email of the person to reach out to and say, hey, like, can we as a corporation give money to Trans Lifeline? That could actually have a huge impact if you're able to do that.
Yeah, and actually, like, maybe there's some corporate matching that is also available too for donations that you yourself raise. So do the research, and you could potentially multiply your donation there. Do we have any?
I am Steph at translifeline.org. Yeah. So if you want to email me, and any of you that are listening, if you have a lead, or you want help streaming, or you want help, running a charity stream, or you just want to get connected to the right person at Trans Lifeline, you can email me, and I'll help make that happen. So once again, that's awesome. Steph, STPH at translifeline.org, just to reach me.
Awesome. Any fun questions in chat that we'd like to go ahead and hop on?
I'm sorry, chat. I'm looking at you. I've been watching you. I don't know if I caught a question.
It's all good, actually. No worries. Well, I mean, actually, I think that last statement was really great. Steph at translifeline.org. Definitely go and reach out. Steph, thank you so much once again for joining me for this interview. And hopefully you'll get a chance to tune in all weekend long. We got lots of awesome gaming continuing on just as soon as after this interview. So folks, stay in your seats. Steph, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And once again,
so
trans rights are human rights. Let's go.
Thank you all.